Okay, we are live with copywriter Kiel, which I am thrilled about, especially because I love Kim is the voice expert. She's a copywriter. She has her own programs, and she was part of the pre-launch plan program last time around. And so, Kim, please say hi and tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Sure. Well, you kind of already introduced me, but I'm Kim Kiel. I live in Edmonton, Alberta in Canada. And I have been a sort of quote unquote professional copywriter for about 5 years. My specialty is direct response copywriting and brand voice personality driven copy. But prior to that, for many, many years, I was working in the front lines of education communication for the nonprofit sector and fundraising, which is kind of where I got my direct response copywriting chops. And then about 5 years ago, I transitioned into online business.
I love that. And I love that you two are Gen X and talk so much about Gen X and all of the Gen X things. So that's really how I think when I found you, like one of the things that was like appealing is I love all talk Gen X and like what life was like in the 90s. So, and I also love too, so that you are you're kind of like me 5 years ago. So we both started our businesses around the same time. And so I think it's just such a testament to, I don't know if you felt like this, but I know when I started not knowing the online world, like I didn't even have like a real Facebook account. I didn't have any Instagram, even personally. I felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to be really old. Like I was afraid to tell people how old I was. Right. And so did you feel the same way when you started?
I still struggle with that every day, Brenna, because like I'll say like, oh, I'm turning 30 now. And I'm like, bleep, and I kind of get annoyed with like the under 40 or like top 40 under 40. I'm like, dude, I started a business when I was 42. I had 2 little kids. I was doing the school run, and look, I've created a business, and nobody's given me awards. So I still have a little anger over that. But yes, I sometimes feel old, but also I think that my level of experience and maturity in dealing with clients has actually been my secret sauce, because I was able to kind of just go straight into high ticket copywriting service rather than doing like really piddly one-offs. And I think it's just because I know how to interact with people and deal with people. And I'm like, it's just, there's a different level of maturity when you've had life experience and you've worked in a corporate environment for a while, and you can actually translate that really beautifully into the online space.
Yeah. And I know for me, even, I think we underestimate, at least I underestimated like being a mom and like what it takes to like raise 3 kids and like feed them all and bathe them all and wash their sheets and clean, all those things that like sometimes I know I dismissed in myself. I'm like, oh wait, like I can run a business. Like I've been wrangling 3 children for 20 years. So I think some of that too is like just like that different perspective sometimes I think we need. So, I love that we are talking about this, especially because you are a copywriter and you decided to join the pre-launch plan program and were with me last round. And I'm excited because doors officially open on Monday. And can you tell everyone, like, since you are a copywriter, like you understand this, what was appealing to you about the program?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I love your vibe, Brenna, and I love that you're also a mature online business owner. So that appealed to me on a personal level. I also had seen all the testimonials from people coming across being like, wow, look at I've pre-sold all my spots. And I thought, wow, this could be a really great additional tool to add to my toolkit, or what things that I could offer to my clients. Because like going into your program, I kind of thought, well, pre-launch, you just send a couple emails, you mention your program, you like do a couple of case studies. And then all of the focus was on like the launch copy. And that was like one of the biggest lessons I learned once I got into your program. But I think I mostly signed up because I wanted just to add that new tool to my toolkit and to have a better understanding of what pre-launch could look like.
Right. And I think in terms of, I know I have a lot of copywriters that I'm talking to behind the scenes that are interested, is that maybe you could explain how, as a copywriter, do that you could go in and do this service and charge an additional, however much money because of this?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't quite pulled the trigger on that myself, but I am totally going to, because when I can offer it as part of my retainer packages. Well, by the way, we can create this pre-launch system. I can go back to some of my past clients and say, hey, I've added this new service. Would you like me to write this pre-launch email sequence or messaging content process for you? I think it's a total no-brainer, honestly, because you just like basically handed this process on a silver platter. And it makes it really easy to just plug into an existing project, to offer it as a bonus to a client you really love, to say like, hey, I'm just going to like create this little pre-launch plan for you. So I think it just makes you look like a rock star all around if you're a copywriter.
Yeah, I agree. And I think fundamentally, like, getting maybe a little bit more into the nitty gritty, especially for the copywriters, like how do you see the program differently now going through it versus maybe of how you thought of a pre-launch in the past?
Yeah, I think I sort of alluded to it. Like I thought like, oh, the 4 weeks leading up, send a few emails, drop the name of the program, and then maybe have a testimonial in there. But what I discovered coming out of the program is how there is just as much strategy leading up to the launch as you put into the sales copy at the other side. And that was like kind of the biggest aha that I got, was how and when to tackle objections, how and when to talk about the dream future state, how and when to infuse those customer testimonials. And you had such a beautiful process for laying that out. Like it's kind of plug and play. Like once you know the system, then you can like just kind of rinse and repeat, plug in, especially if you're already working with somebody as a copywriter, you already have that voice of customer. You've already done your message mining, and then it's just like, whoa, click of a button practically, and you can almost create this whole new pre-launch plan and then sell it along with the emails or the social copy that you might write with that.
Yeah. And I love it. And I think too, as a copywriter, I know as a copywriter who was writing launch copy in the past, like no one talks about this, no one, right? So I think that's the other like true advantage here for someone who's thinking about doing this as a service. I know you have your own programs too. So if you're a copywriter who has your own programs, or even want to like start filling up your services and not feel like you're selling all the time, and start using this process for yourself, that you could go in and really stand out as a strategist and as someone who knows their stuff and is bringing something different to the table than any of the other copywriters that they may be looking at, if you're in the process of trying to get new work.
What I found super helpful was, because I do have my own programs that I offer, and I have always kind of just like offered them open enrollment. And this was the first time after I joined the pre-launch program, then I was like, well, maybe I should actually just try to launch this program. And I was a little behind the 8 ball with it. Like, I don't think I had enough time and space to do the full process properly, but it still took me like halfway down the football field to be able to get there. And what I really loved was I host my own podcast, and I was able to use like the strategies that you laid out to like pre-record my podcast episodes, knowing when they would be released in relation to the launch. So it helped me just feel like I was ahead of the game, even though I was kind of like a last minute launcher.
Yeah, no. And that's really the whole like thing is like, okay, even if you are last minute launching, as you do this process again and again, it's just like, okay, I know what I need to do beforehand, and I know what I can infuse and what needs to be left behind. Yeah. And so I know we've talked about it a little bit, but like, what was your experience inside the program when we were working together?
Well, I mean, full disclosure, what I didn't know going in was that we would be like writing the copy live together for each of the different assets, doing the research together, doing the message mining. Like, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention going in, but it was kind of like, once I got in, I was like, oh, you mean I need to actually write something? I thought it was going to be very passive, but it was so active and interactive. And it kind of forced me to write all these assets for my own business, which I never would have done. I would have just flown by the seat of my pants, and I would have just like, done like a super crappy job. So I really loved that it was that guided, get her done kind of a container, which is very, very rare in this online space. Like I offer something similar for a different process, but it is so rare to have that like kind of hand holding and like, here's how you do it. Now go do it. Let's review it together. And it's like helps you get your stuff done. So I loved that. Yeah.
I love that. And I'm making it very clear moving forward. Yes, this is like an implementation program. And I think too, I don't know, like this is for me, it's like I have to like hear something, see something, do something, have someone give me feedback, see, like all of those steps. So I know that that's something I try to really infuse in here is like, I want people to come in and, obviously we all come into programs for different, but if you really want to come in and do the work, get it done, stay accountable. And even this next time around, one of the people that was in this last group with us kind of started like a little co-working thing. And I'm like, yeah, let's like set up a time too, where we can actually work. I know if I don't like set that time aside, it's really hard to sit there's always something coming up. Right. So I love what you were saying about that. And, it just, so if a copywriter, and if a copywriter is thinking, or a business owner for that matter, and they're thinking, okay, like, is this the right program right now? Should I do this later? Like, what would be your thoughts on that?
I would say don't do it later and do it now. And it is 100% worth the money. I know other copywriters sometimes, like we invest when we first start out in our business, and then we kind of like don't invest or reinvest in lower ticket offers. But the amount that you deliver in this program, Brenna, is like kind of mind blowing. And sure, you can buy other like copywriting templates, but this is so different because it's got the strategy, it's got all of the message mining, it's got the templates, it's got how to write a great like it's got so much in there that is a great refresher for a copywriter. And it's also fabulous information for a business owner who maybe doesn't have such a background in copywriting. So I think it's a total no-brainer. It's an investment of time and money, but there's a huge ROI, 100%.
Thank you. Yeah. And that's really important. And I think too, something that's important to me with the program is like, I want people to use this like forever, right? Like to be a foundational part, that this isn't like you come in and learn this and be like, okay, like this is this process and everything in there is something that hopefully you can use. I shouldn't say hopefully. I'm working on my strong language. This is something you could use. Again, that's that 40-year-old, middle-aged woman that comes out sometimes.
People pleaser. Don't take up too much space there, Brenna.
I know that I'm working on it. I'm really working on it. So anyway, that you can come in, take this and repeat this process again and again and have everything to go back and refer to. So,
can I just offer one more thing? Like as a direct response copywriter, I love that you also were using direct response techniques. And I think that there is a segment of the copywriting world that really shies away from using it, or it's been painted with a really bad brush. But compared to some of the other copywriting programs out there, I really think that that's a big asset that you bring to the table, that it's very focused on using these direct response techniques, which is what people need to take action. And it's done in an ethical, kind, generous way, as opposed to like super clickbait bro marketing. But I just really, that was also what really sold me, was I could tell the level of expertise that was coming into this because I could see the direct response techniques that you were using.
Yeah, I agree. And it's something too, I think, that once again, I think I'm now working on my language. But the other thing too, that I think that's different about this program is that a lot of times people think of pre-launch. Me and my friend Brittany McBean have talked a lot about this recently. Like, oh, it's just this content that you're creating, right? And it's like, no. This is this is conversion before the conversion event,
Yes,
right? We're
yes.
setting this content, like a merge of how can we use our content in a way to actually convert people down the line. So,
And I think especially today, people are suspicious, they're more savvy. Finances are tight for everyone. Everyone, even like 7-figure entrepreneurs, are being a little more cautious about how they're investing their money. And so giving someone a longer runway to get to know, like, trust you and convert themselves into wanting to purchase your product, your service, I think that's only going to help. Like, it can't not increase your conversions and your ability to sell.
yeah, I agree with you. I think that's exactly it. If you're thinking about doing this, it's just like, okay, how much do you sell? Do you need to sell just like one more of your service, one more of your program, and you get an immediate ROI? And well, anyway, I appreciate this conversation. I appreciate you taking time and being part of the pre-launch plan program. Kim, can you tell if someone's like, I want you to actually do this for, like, I'd love to join the program, but I actually want someone to write it for me because I'm not writing this stuff right now. Where can people find you and get your expertise?
Sure. There's 2 places people can check me out. The first place is my podcast. It's called Ill Communication, and you can find it on all the podcast platforms. You can also find it on my website, and that's also where you can connect with me. That's kimkiel.com, KIMKIEL.com.
Great. I will drop that here. And if you're someone who's interested in the pre-launch plan program, we open up on Monday, but you can DM me if you want some more information before that. And thank you for being here with me today, Kim. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.